I'm gonna just get the meeting started and I'll turn the time to Sharon at the time we start into the agenda. We've asked Craig Christensen of the City Council to offer our invocation on the evening, and then we'll stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our Father in heaven, we're so grateful to be able to meet as neighbors this evening. We're grateful for this wonderful country that we live in, grateful for this wonderful city and those who work so hard, grateful for all the dedicated neighbors who are here, who work to make this a better place to live, to be, and to participate in. We're grateful for those who contribute and ask thy blessing to be with us tonight, that we might feel the spirit of peace, that we might be able to find ways to work through challenges that are ahead of us and make this a better city. We're grateful for all we have. In the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Please stand and join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
There we go. Welcome. Thank you, Craig and Paul, for leading us in the pledge and saying our prayer. Vern is going to give us a, oh, wait. Okay. So you guys can probably see it better than I am, but we're committed to respectful, peaceful dialogue between presenters, city staff, elected officials, and neighbors. Development presentations or informational notices are made at the neighborhood district meetings. We encourage you to email the planning commission or city council and to attend the public hearings. So we're going to change things up a little bit, and this is not strictly because of our meeting. There are, Rachel, 5 districts. And due to various things across each of the meetings, we've decided to change things up. So, just for your information, if you'd like to comment on something that one of our presenters is presenting today, we're going to ask you to line up over here, and a microphone will be brought to you, and there'll be a line, and we'll just kind of do a 1-minute public comment per person. You may or may not have seen in the newsletter that we won't have what's called public comment at the end. We do have note cards and pens if you'd like to write a concern that you have, something you'd like to see brought up at a future neighborhood district meeting, that kind of thing. Or if you had a question that was not answered and you'd like to ask that question. Rachel's would like to see if you don't get to make your comment also, right? Because we are time boxed on our presenters. We have to move on to the next presentation pretty quickly. So if you don't get your question answered, if you still like to comment on a presentation or a project, feel free to write that down. And then Rachel can put your comment question directly into the notes. The developers or the city staff will get them directly. I feel like it's a little more efficient that way. So that said, we're going to proceed with this meeting. Keep in mind we're trying to be polite. And we're going to turn the time over to Vern to give us some results of traffic studies.
Is it turned on?
Now it is. Okay. So the first one is just an announcement that we'll get to the traffic study for the 2230 North Street and Corridor. So the first one is regarding the traffic signal at Timpview Drive and Quail Valley Drive. As you remember last month, we were here presenting to be a little more proactive and insert a traffic signal at that intersection for a variety of reasons. Recognizing that we did not meet the crash warrant analysis, but we were trying to be proactive to prohibit future crashes there. we received a lot of comment, both against and for the traffic signal. Just by way of information, we received for every one comment that we received that was a favorable viewpoint for the traffic signal. We received 2 that were against the traffic signal. So trying to just give you an idea of where the emails came out at and the public comment that we received. So with that, we had a tough decision to make. We went back and visited with Timpview High School and with Edgemont Elementary and informed them of the concern that the residents had regarding the implementation of the traffic signal there. So we have decided to not install the traffic signal at that particular intersection at this time, meaning that please drive safe so it doesn't ever warrant a traffic signal. Because when it does warrant a traffic signal, I won't be up here asking you, I'll be up here telling you. Because then it puts the city at risk. So drive safe. We just had a fatality in the city yesterday. And it's tragic, right? So the good news is that if we continue to drive safe, it won't warrant the need for a traffic signal at that 4-way intersection. So with that, that's all I have for that particular one. I guess if there are questions or comments, I guess there's a new procedure to line up over on that south wall.
Do you have any other reports you want to give us?
Not on the traffic signal. I have one more that's on a different corridor.
I've seen anybody jump, so let's go ahead and move on.
Let's move on to that one. See if I can get this work right. Okay, so 2200 North, also known as the 2230 North corridor. I did a traffic study at the request of the neighborhood there, and I presented the results of that traffic study several months ago. In fact, it was last year. And we had 19 incidents in Cleveland. That's really high. And there were a variety of situations that resulted in those crashes. And so the neighborhood was concerned enough that we put together a working group, and Lynn and Richard were part of that working group. And this is kind of a little bit of background information on it. We started meeting in September of last year, and the goal of the working group was to improve the safety of the street. The working group met 6 times, and then we held a public open house at the fire station on March 3rd. And then the improvements were categorized into 6 categories. So I'm quickly going to go through those 6 categories and let you know that we're done meeting, and now we're moving into the implementation phase. And some of these are the things that we plan on doing. So for traffic and roadway, we're going to restrike this whole intersection here, hopefully this year. Many will recognize that right turn lane going on to Timpview from 90 to 2230 North is narrow. And in fact, I can't even squeeze into that right lane when there's a car in the throughway. I'm sure you've experienced the same situation. So what we're going to do is we're going to restrike that, shift everything so we have at least a 10-foot right turn lane there. And that's what we want to do. The other one is the merge down here from Canyon Road over to 2320 North. There's a merge there, and we get a couple sites as well. Now I know someone's not wanting to let someone in, or someone's trying to get in, or they don't see each other. And then there's a couple parking spots there. So I'm going to have to do an analysis just on that little area and take a look at the merge, see if it's the proper distance, see if there's something that we can do to fix that. A couple other concerns. There were some concerns about truck traffic. Just so you know, the state law, trucks up to 129,000 pounds can go on state highways. We prohibit them on our roads because our roads are built as great as the state roads. We don't ask for as much thickness of the pavement, and the quality of the pavement's a little bit different. And so is the base, the road base that goes underneath there. So they build to what I call a platinum standard, and would probably go to a silver standard, anyway, something like that. But we do allow 80,000 pound trucks, and you'll see a lot of those servicing BYU and the Temple and other things. And for a while, the city was hauling dirt out of there, and 2320 that happened to be the route that was selected to remove the dirt. There was concern about crashes on the center turn lane, and someone said, well, get rid of the center turn lane. We only had 2 crashes that were really resulting from the center turn lane. So we will be keeping the 2-way left turn lane. Many of it know as a suicide lane, but I call it a 2-way left turn lane with little. Okay. So moving on to traffic control and signage. I want you to look at these numbers down here. So there's a 6, there's a 2, 3, 5, 4, 7. I don't know where the 1's at. Anyway, somewhere around there. These correspond, these improvements for recommendations correspond with what we plan on doing along the corridor. So I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to go through these individually, but if you have, I'll just mention a couple of these. There's a curve ahead sign and a signal, that really should be a signal ahead sign, and then we're going to relocate the curve ahead sign with the proper distance. There's a couple parking spaces, signs that we need to put in there, no parking. We have 2 signs there already, but they're kind of at a greater distance and people still try to squeeze in between the 2 signs. We're going to explore the red signals up here at this traffic light, and then we're going to look at the signal timing for that left turn, going eastbound to northbound on Timpview Drive. So we'll take a look at that. And see if signal timing needs to be modified or changed in any way, shape, or form there. So let's see if there's any other special things I should look at there. I think that probably, and you guys can, after I'm done with the presentation, you can come out. I'll be in the hallway. You can ask me any questions or discuss things with me. Vegetation instructions, and so everywhere there's a red dot. So we took our working group and we spent 2 hours, maybe 2.5, Richard. We walked the entire corridor on both sides of the street. We've identified all these problems from a pedestrian perspective and point of view. We saw it right there at ground level. And if you don't know, trees should be 7 foot. There shouldn't be anything lower than 7 foot, especially for our pedestrians who walk on the sidewalk. The last thing you do is want to poke the eye. And then anything taller than 3 feet is prohibited. So like fences and bushes and shrubs and all that stuff. You have a lot of backing out of driveways there. And what we noticed as a working group, we just saw a lot of vegetation right out of driveways. Vegetation does get old and it is replaceable. Maybe not the big trees, they can be trimmed. But I think Lynn and the neighborhood has a cleanup day plan in the future, and we'll talk about that. So you can kind of see the clear view vision angle at the intersections, and then around drive accesses here. And so you want to be able to see clearly, and we think that some of those things can be improved from a safety perspective. Pedestrian safety. What we noticed while we were walking this corridor is we have no marked crosswalks in this corridor. There wasn't any marked streets with parallel bars for our pedestrians. So this summer, when our crews start painting again in June or July, we're going to paint all those crosswalks and we'll have all those implemented this summer. We already visited with the public works of the energy department, and they have identified a couple of poles that are missing for light. And so we're probably going to see the implementation of a couple more street lights to help with the lighting of the corridor. And then here's the recommended neighborhood efforts. Vegetation cleanup on sidewalks. The neighborhood should organize to clean up, clear sidewalks, and trim and remove vegetation. Existing transportation plans. So this is the 400-pound gorilla in the room. People go, well, we didn't address the capacity improvements. No, we're not. That's still in the distance. That's 15 years away. But we did address the safety. We don't want to wait 15 years to address the safety improvements. So that's what our working group did. We just concentrated on the city. Finally, we want to realign 2320 and come in at 250 and make this a 4-legged intersection where I can put a traffic signal there. No, traffic signals are a little controversial in this meeting. But I certainly want to try to do that. That's going to provide a safer access for all those students that are on the south side of 22, 23, 2230 to get to school with a school crosswalk, crossing guard at a traffic signal. So just so you know, I've applied for funds through Wildland Association of Governments for this project. Costs about $2 to $2.5 million, depending on any alignments that we have to do there. So we are looking at making that a 4-legged intersection. Many of you know that people try to shoot the gap, making that left turn, or if you're coming down 2320 and you're making a right turn, it's kind of hard to see some of the traffic coming, and they're coming downhill, right? So they're not probably doing the closest speed limit like they should. So we recognize that. We've applied for funds. We have acquired this property. So we'll hopefully get those funds available to us in 2030 or 2031. Okay, I think you got my time. Let me just check and make sure.
And you're.
I'm over.
Yeah, well,
Not by us, you have.
I'm going by the schedule and.
I'll be happy, if you want to line up and ask questions, we only have about a minute. I'm happy to go out in the foyer and talk and answer any questions and take some input out there. So this neighborhood committee can continue to stay on schedule and move forward. Okay, thanks.
Thank you so much, Vern, for coming, presenting. And as mentioned, if you have questions specifically for Vern, you can either write them on our card, you get them to him, or comments to Vern, who gets them on the card, or you can go out in the hallway and chat with him. Next, we have Jeanie Atherton, who's going to chat with us about the Wildland Urban Interface assessments.
All right, good evening. Thanks for letting me come and chat a little bit about our Wildland Urban Interface program. If you've been coming to these meetings for a few years, you've probably seen my whole presentation. And if you haven't and you want to see it, please get a hold of me. I'm more than happy to come to a community neighborhood meeting and show it to you. But I was specifically asked to talk tonight about our home assessment program and our community chipping program that we offer for our highest risk areas. So we do offer home assessments, meaning I will show up and come take a look around your property, look at your home and see kind of what your wildfire risk is. The issue that we have nowadays is embers that can travel 1 to 3 miles during a fire that's several miles away from our city can actually impact us. And so what we're trying to get residents to do is to identify areas directly around their home within 5 feet to 100 feet from their home that are high risk because they have trees that are overgrown, tall grass that goes up under decks. A lot of people like to store firewood next to their house, which is convenient in the winter, but it's really a terrible idea in the summer when there's wildfires. Who knows how close to our city. So we come in and give you an idea of what you need to do. And a lot of these things are simple yard work and maintenance type things. There are some things that we can get into, more home hardening things. We're trying to get people to, if they're going to be doing home renovations and they have a wood shade shingle roof, we really recommend that you change that to something like an asphalt shingle that is non-combustible. So we'll give you recommendations with respect to your home and to the landscaping around your home as to what you can do to make your home safer and a little more ignition resistant if there's a wildfire close to our city that could be blowing embers into Provo. The other thing that we do to help homeowners in our highest risk areas is we offer a community chipping program. So we have a seasonal mitigation crew that works, this year we're working from May 4th to August 13th. And the program that we offer is for our highest risk areas. We are in the process of creating a interactive map that will be available on the website because we've identified these areas in our city and have them highlighted on this map. So you'll be able to go in and see, do I qualify for this chipping program? Or do I maybe live in an area that's a little bit outside of the actual wildland urban interface? And that's something that we're working with GIS on right now currently and hope to have that up in on the website within the next few weeks. So with that, our chipping program, if you qualify for it, it's pretty simple. You cut and remove all the material from your yard and stack it in front of your house. Then you scan that QR code. It takes you to a form that you fill out indicating that you've done the work. We like to keep track of the homeowner hours because it helps us when we get grant funding to use those hours of in-kind donations of time to meet grant matches. And then that alerts us that you have something that we need to come pick up. So we will bring our crew to bring a chipper that our power department allows us to use, and we'll chip everything and haul it down to the green waste dump so it can be turned into compost. So if you have any questions about either of those programs, please feel free to call or email me, and I can answer specific questions about your property. I can tell you, if over a phone call, you give me your address, I can tell you whether or not you are in our technical wildland urban interface zone that qualifies for the chipping program, and then I can give you more information about home assessments. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. And to that end, we as a board have chosen May 2nd to do kind of an area North District cleanup. So if you'd like to be involved, did we get that slide, Rachel?
I do not have that.
Okay. It will go out in your newsletter when Rachel sends out the update of our meeting and the newsletter. So if you don't get that, sign up outside in the hallway. May 2nd, put it on your calendar. We're going to work as a group to clean up some areas. We haven't decided exactly where yet. So, and as I understood on the flyer, the best donuts in the world, but I think we have those tonight. I'm not sure where to even get them. So next we have Kirsten Garcia with a presentation on emergency home repair grant program.
Good evening, I'm Kirsten Garcia. I'm with our community programs division here in our development services department. We received funding from the Department of Housing and Urban Development and help reinvest your tax dollars into Provo City. And so one way we do this is through our emergency home repair grant program. So this program is available to low to moderate income homeowners in Provo City who need an emergency home repair. So to qualify, you must have these three.
Is your mic on?
Sorry, is it?
It is.
Okay, sorry, I'll just talk more directly. Sorry. You must be 60 years of age or older, or on Social Security disability, or an active duty member of the U.S. So basically what we offer is a $15,000 grant, or up to $15,000 in a grant. They're only used once per household, and then it has to be an emergency by a city inspector. And then, like I said, we're funded through the Community Development Block Grant Program through HUD. So some possible repairs that we've done that we can do, or that we've done in the past, are things like mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and structural items, correcting health hazard or threats of physical danger. Roof repairs are our most popular one, or most common. Tree removal if it's causing damage to the home, or repair work from flooding, fire, accidents, or other unpreventable occurrences not covered by insurance. So here are some examples of past repairs that we have done. This one's a roof repair we just recently did. And like I said, I'm just trying to keep this short and sweet. But basically what we need is your help to look out for your neighbors. If you see someone in your area that has a need, let them know that we're here. I just tell people to call me the pug lady. This is my dog. It's named for Remember Me. But the application is really easy. It's online. Or you can get a paper application in our development services department. But that's it.
So if you have any questions, we're gonna have Kirsten out in the hall for a few minutes. Go ahead and step out there and chat with her. Our next item is a presentation on proposed zone change from A15 agricultural critical hillside overlay and OSPR open space preservation and recreation. An A1 RA residential agriculture zone. Keep in mind, Reza is going to present. We aren't making any decisions here tonight. We are just listening to his presentation, and we can give comment on how maybe we think we could help in some way, or we might like it better. And we'll ask you to line up on the side. We're gonna let Reza do his presentation first. We've given him about 20 minutes, so we'll say he'll take 10 to present. And then we'll try and get some questions or comments in. That's how we're gonna try and do this. How's that? So line up over here. If you have a 1-minute comment, if you're too shy, just can't do that. Again, we have cards up here, and I will run them to the back so that you can write them back there.
And this project is in the review process, so what we see tonight may be a little bit different from when it goes to planning commission and city council.
Hi everyone, my name is Reza Fakhrieh. I'm with the Edgemont Capital. I'll put the microphone up to my mouth. Get real close. We are here tonight to go over and present our rezone plan for what we are calling the Foothill Orchards. It's in the northeast district of Provo City, Timpview area, right off of Canyon Road. I was told to go quickly, so I'm going to fly through some of these things, so you'll be able to see these later. We'll post them up later, but just a little brief overview on the project. In Foothill Orchards, we're in the Northeast Timpview Neighborhood. Current zoning is OSPR A15 and A11, and we are proposing an A11 RA and R120 zone. We are approximately 155 acres that we're asking to be rezoned in these 3 zones, and we'll go into it. A little bit about the history and annexation. You can read it about later, but happy to answer questions about that too as we go on. So let me go to the next slide. I just wanted to mention that we spent probably 13 or 14 months now here in these meetings, as well as with neighborhood meetings and neighbors, talking to city council members, talking to people within all aspects of the community, to really understand what the Northeast neighborhood development principles were. So we wanted to make sure that you understood that we were taking those into consideration as we're moving forward with this rezone process, and that's been a very important part of our process. This is the vicinity map, and it shows the Northeast Timpview area. So within that vicinity map, you can see the dark section is the area that we have annexed and are in the process of applying for a rezone of. This is our Alpha survey showing that same area. Again, the current zone designations shown here. This is an outline of the area. So we have currently this red outline goes through the A15 and OSPR zones that we're under right now. Again, A11, RA, and R120 are the zones that we are applying for. And as Rachel mentioned, we are just in the application process right now. So we have not yet gone through to pass concept review and application, rezone application. This outline, there are blue, green, and orange. So the blue area is the area that we are asking for the A11 zone in. We've applied for A11 zone in per the neighborhood plan. This area is meets what the neighborhood plan has designated for A11. Also proposed is the RA zone on the south end of the parcel, and then R120 on the lower part of the parcel, the flat area, there R120. So all of this would have, all of the A11 and RA zones would have a critical hillside overlay zone, which we've applied for to cover that entire area, as well as PD overlay zone. So again, just giving you a little bit more of context and adjacency to current zones, the proposed A11 zone, RA zone and R120, and the adjacency to current zones that are already in place. You can see the R120 zone that's near Canyon Road, about 200 yards away from the R120 zone. So the established parcels around us, and this rezone abuts many residential single-family neighborhoods, and we were trying to stay consistent with the neighborhood plan and the general plan. This is our initial concept plan that we proposed about 10 or 12 months ago when we were here and we were first looking at the annexation. Our initial plan were to have a much more densely populated. This, we put this up to get comment on. We spent, again, 10 or 12 months taking comment, taking feedback, listening to neighbors, to the neighborhood, and understanding what the community wanted up there. Our initial plan had the concerns that were raised on the initial plan were based around density, the visual impact from valley floor, traffic, and public access to trails and to the wilderness. And so this was the original plan we had. It had north of 200 units up there, residential units on the hillside, and some on the lower end as well. And then we had a mixture of townhomes as well that we were putting on this project. This is our current concept plan that we are utilizing and have crafted together with various members of planning and development services, as well as the neighborhood and neighbors. And what we've come up with here, again, is in application. We have not received approval for anything. So this is what we're using for the rezone application. The residential lot count on our plan now has been reduced by 70%. So we heard everybody loud and clear. We understood that this isn't an area that anyone in the community wanted to see full of houses and rows of streets. And so what we've done is try to go through, and in a second here, I'll have our development partners come up and talk a little bit about the type of product we want to put up there as well. But what we've tried to do is go through and make much larger lots. There's as I think everyone knows who knows this area knows there's some geotechnical constraints as well. So we've taken those into consideration. We've spent the last 8 months with our geologists and geotechnical experts, engineers, and spent a lot of time to make sure we understand what we're dealing with up there. And that's continuing to be part of this application process that we're under right now. We are putting this all under the Critical Hillside Overlay. So this concept map shows you the concept with the Critical Hillside Overlay over everything. And what we're trying to do is create some public trail corridors from the south end to the north end of the property so that we can provide public access. What we're doing is creating a community within this greater community that we would dedicate roads to the city and give access to the public so that they can get up on the hillside and enjoy the area and the topography. We've created this road network and path network that would connect from the south end to the north end so that people can utilize the neighborhood, not just the people. There'll be no gates, there'll be no, nothing blocked off. This will be open and part of the greater community. So the water infrastructure that we're going to be supplying, and you can see what Provo City has asked for us to indicate where we might put this water tank. Initially, we had it on the property up above, but it was not the best location. And our goal is to provide Provo City with additional water capacity through the roadways, giving additional water infrastructure and upsizing the tank. If they needed it, they can upsize the tank. So those discussions are what we're having with public work right now, and we'll work through all those once we get through the recent process.
Units is that now?
So now we have about 70 units up top. So from about 200 units down to about 70 units between both the north and the south sides. The average lot size is over an acre. It's about an acre and a half. Clearly, the topography, the critical hillside overlay, and the geotechnical or geology is a big constraining factor. But also, what we want to do is provide larger lots. We think that this is a very unique place to provide large lots, but we want to also provide something for people who might not have the means to live up on the hillside. And so that's why on the lower area, we were looking to do a zone of R120. This would be an ideal pocket neighborhood, whether it was townhomes or smaller homes. And that's why we went for the R120 zone, is because we feel that it's adjacent to other R120s. It's near Canyon Road, and we think that a pocket type neighborhood right here might work really well. Again, owner occupied, deed restricted establishment, so established for all units. So we're prohibiting, we deed restrict any short-term rentals in this area, 90 rentals, that kind of thing. And then any ADU provisions will be included where applicable code permits. So if these lots have the ability to have an additional home on them for a mother-in-law or any type of accessory dwelling unit, we would allow that if the code applies. So this is the concept plan currently. I want to introduce, we looked and thought about this at great length over the last year, and we wanted to bring in the right development partner, both horizontal and vertical development partners. So we partnered with Millhaven Homes, and I've asked Jeremy Ackley, who owns Millhaven Homes, tonight to talk a little bit about Millhaven and the type of product that we're going to have there. So,
Thanks, Reza. Thank you for letting us come over here. We're pretty excited about this area. When Reza first came and talked to us about it, I grew up in Provo, so I knew exactly where it was. I've been around here for a long time and have seen this subdivision or this piece of property come up several times. But yeah, now it's looking really good. We're excited to be part of it. We build homes that this is the clicker. Okay. We build homes that people just have dreamed about, and they want to build their forever home up there or anywhere for that matter. We historically go and develop in cities where we basically do less density than what we're entitled to, and this is no different. I think Reza said there's about 70 lots up top. We fully expect that to be considerably less, like in the 50 range. Because in our experience, we had a lot of people come and approach us, and we started to design based on what they want, where they want their homes. Like a lot of people were just combining 2 or 3 lots, and we design right from the get-go, like be able to take it from development all the way to the finished product. These are some of the types of homes that we've built, the renderings of what we are building currently on hillside lots. And that's basically it for us. Millhaven.
So we'll take some questions, but first I just wanted to go through some of the community impact items. Land use. We're asking through this rezone process, and again, the application is under review right now, but we're asking through this rezone application to rezone 148 acres and adding those acres back into the Northeast neighborhood as agricultural in some way, A1 or RA. A density that's drastically reduced, larger lots, minimize the hillside disturbance. Where the slopes in excess of 30% have been excluded as part of the critical hillside overlay, which has been formalized and we've adapted to and made sure our concept plan adheres to. So. And then exclusively owner-occupied community, deed restrictions, as I mentioned, prohibit short-term rentals. So one of the things I wanted to mention is the utility infrastructure. I mentioned that previously, but we are fully anticipating and cooperating with any additional oversized water tanks or upside distribution lines that might be needed by Provo City for additional capacity or loop systems to provide not just this community, but the communities around us with water capacity for now and for the future. Adjacent parcels and neighboring communities will gain increased water supply through this and redundancy. We believe that Provo City gains that expanded water storage capacity and will support not just the immediate area, but the overall Northeast District growth. So the other thing I wanted to mention real quickly is agricultural history. We learned about the history of this area, the Northeast District, and in particular this piece of land and the history from the first day we stepped on it. We were very fortunate to start talking to the neighbors and people who've lived on this land for their whole lives, generations of family who've lived on this land. We really appreciate that history and that origin story, and we want to preserve that origin story. We really believe in it, and we want to continue to have agriculture be a big part of what this community is and this overall neighborhood. So we are not just advocates of it in word, but we really are wanting to put in the roadways to make agriculture and orchards up there continue to thrive and do what we can to add to their longevity. So orchard plantings throughout the community, trying to find ways in which we can maybe do some type of community orchard or garden or have it managed in some way where that can continue to be a big part of the fabric of this neighborhood and the community. And irrigation access. So we're planning to not only respect and maintain the Smith ditch that runs through this property, that irrigation water comes through and has come through for centuries, but we want to improve it in every way we can so that the orchards and individuals and shareholders who have access to the Smith ditch water can continue to use it and utilize it for their orchards and farms. And then, so I just want to say the project name and design motifs reflect and celebrate Provo's Northeast orchard. We really wanted this foothill orchards neighborhood to reflect that and to continue the origin story. The last thing I wanted to touch base on is access to trails. So the Indian Road Trailhead, which everyone knows is a historic Native American route that anchors this piece at the beginning of the northern entrance, which we have a south and north entrance, as you saw from the concept map. Will continue to be a part of this. We want to improve the roads and create a safer, better defined access, hopefully to the Bonneville Shoreline Trail, because we think that through the roadways we can get up to the Bonneville Shoreline Trail and let the community and neighbors and residents of this area, citizens of this community, be able to access the Bonneville Shoreline Trail and corresponding trail networks around there. So we want to actively coordinate. We've reached out and want to continue to reach out and actively coordinate with Utah Valley Trails and all the other organizations in Utah Valley, Utah County Trails, and any other interested party who wants to participate in this, as we are early on, or early days in this concept plan. So we want to make sure that we get everybody's input and involvement. I know there's been a long history with this project and this property, so a lot of people have heard it before, but we really are committed and vested in this and want to make sure that all people have a say in what we're doing up there, because in the end, it's going to be part of the fabric of this community long term. So that's it. I'll end it there and take any questions.
Malia, looks like we have questions online.
Okay, there's a couple. Wow, there's a couple on Zoom. The first one is, will the trails connect to the Bonneville Shoreline Trail, which I think you covered. The second one isn't a question, but a comment that says, grateful for the professionalism and transparency of this proposed foothill project. It is refreshing to see a developer listening to community voices. And then third one is, how does this plan fit into the city's priority to provide affordable housing? So not there. There's more.
Yeah, I can talk to that. We looked at this problem because of the geographic constraints, the Critical Hillside Overlay. It's difficult to, as you saw from the initial concept plan, for us to pack a lot into this area. I don't think that's what the greater community wanted, but even if that's what they wanted, the topography and geology of this area constrain that. So we thought Originally, we had some higher density townhomes up on the hillside. We've removed those. We've done larger lots. We think that that's the better product for up there. But we also have added in this lower area. That's what the A120 would hopefully help with, is trying to find that middle somewhere.
Okay, I'm not seeing anybody line up.
That's not a very attractive way to ask a
No,
question.
no,
You
let's
have
raise
to
our
have some
hands.
feedback on that. Go stand up for a while to ask a question. Doesn't feel good. Okay?
Sorry,
Feedback,
and I
please.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
It is hard to hear you, and it's even harder to run around with the mic. So we're learning, we're growing, we'll try to adapt as we go. If you've ever attended city council, that is how they do it, is that you come up to the mic so that we don't have people just yelling out throughout the meeting. I do have a question, and that's, you mentioned the large water tank, and I was curious if you've already talked to the city about if you're gonna do most of that infrastructure improvement, or if the city is chipping in, or how?
Yeah, we've had lengthy conversations for the past year with Public Works, and they understand what we're trying to accomplish. Obviously, our footprint has been reduced drastically, but nonetheless, we will have to bring through all of the infrastructure, including water. So all of the utilities that we will bring on site and bring through all the way to the water storage tank, we will pay for. If the city chooses to, and it sounds like they would want to upsize that water tank and the infrastructure that needs to be upsized to get the water to that water tank, it's primarily the water tank, they would pay for that portion. Pro rata, we would pay for all of what we needed, and also all of the roadway infrastructure that it would take to get up there.
Okay, so, yeah, sorry, I'm gonna push back and say, come to this side and follow any of the mic. It is what it is, I'm sorry.
What's the impact of traffic on Canyon and Timpview?
Yeah, great question. So we have not been able to do a formal traffic study as of yet. There's been other traffic studies done in the past. We are going through the rezone process. We don't even know how many lots or units we'll get on this property. Once we know how many units we'll have, we will do a formal traffic study and present that as well. So currently, again, we've reduced the footprint down to, like Jeremy said, 60 to 70 homes up there, additional homes, from what we were originally intending would be north of 200. But until we get the final rezone approved through city council, we won't know how many units we'll have. So once we do that and are rezoned, there's a long process that we'll take to make sure that the concept plan is approved, and we have to work with the city on that.
And then is this a progressive plan that, yeah, you get your initial homes you want in, but then we get high density housing through there? Again, Canyon cannot be expanded, neither can Timpview. And that's our impact for children, can't even cross the street at Canyon as it is right now. And to put that much more traffic there makes our neighborhoods very dangerous and unlivable.
Yeah, totally understood. So again, the direction we took was to go the opposite. We're not looking for density. We're not looking for additional density. We would like to try to provide a product on the lower part of the project that might create a little bit more of the middle housing, but not much of it. We don't have that much land on the lower portion. Everything up on the hillside has become larger lots and fewer of them. So the density, I think, has decreased drastically. And once we're zoned under this zone, that's what we're doing. And that's why we partnered with Millhaven Homes, because this is the right product for them and their customers.
And then what roads will be in the future be planned to come through, like, you know, near the cemetery and through that area connecting to Foothills or whatever as that area grows?
So we have no plans to go take any roadways through the cemetery. We don't own that property in between.
Well, and I don't mean literally through the cemetery, but I mean, that's how you would connect from those homes over to the heart of Provo to get to
Right.
Doors and so forth.
We have a south entrance on Canyon Road, and then the north entrance that's here on Canyon Road. And this is an existing road, and then this will be the future south entrance road that would come up from Canyon Road and access through here. And then
Show them where the Indian Trail parking lot.
and then the Indian Road trailhead is currently right here. So this is where the parking lot is off of the south, or this north entrance right here.
And we're hoping that Provo City will jump in, since you're leaving the road open to the blue dot. The Provo City will jump in and improve a trailhead up there also.
Yeah, so these trails that come through here, or I should say roadways that come through here will come up, and this is what we're thinking about for future access for the trail systems. So this current Indian Road trailhead right here, people are accessing the trail, well, where they should be accessing the trail down through here on the western end and coming up through here and then getting to the bottom of the shoreline tunnel up there. And I know that's not your traffic question, sorry, but and this roadway would bring them up and deliver them closer to the Provo City property here and access to these trailways and network up here.
Okay, and we are beyond our time, so I see two other people in line, sorry about that. I'd like to hear from these two people, and then I'd like to hear, we need to kind of take a poll, how you feel about the project generally. Maybe two other questions if somebody comes up with them for me between now and then.
Thank you. Much prefer this project over what I've seen before. I live right adjacent to Canyon Road, 4849 North. And one of my concerns is this is gonna be years and years of construction, trucks, noise. Can you direct your vehicles to enter via the north? Because if you all bring it in via the south entrance, that's going right by the homes who are right there adjacent to the road.
Sure, that's a great comment, and we would love to have community input pre-development on any access or any impact that we might be making to neighborhoods or the neighboring parcels. We're again probably well over a year out from that point in time, but we would love to engage with neighbors in the community to do that, make sure that we address all those concerns.
Hey, Angela.
It's on. Okay, so I just wanted to clarify something that maybe wasn't clarified for people who are here. I really appreciate Reza, and like he said, he's just taken so much time to really learn the neighborhood plan that was put in place very recently. So because this is all private property, something will be developed eventually, and so I am personally thrilled that he's brought in Millhaven Homes and that he's doing the proposal that he is. And also like the townhome area, like the pocket neighborhood, is something that I personally would like to see because there are a lot of people here who are older and maybe want to downsize from bigger homes, and it gives them the opportunity for that home ownership in this area too. So I just wanted to say, I just really appreciate his approach. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Malia says there's one more comment online.
Okay. I'm going to summarize the questions. First one is, what do the conversations look like with local conservation organizations? And do those conversations reflect the desire to conserve the limited open space for both recreational and wildlife habitat?
Sure, so we have just started that engagement process. I've reached out to a few different people. There's various leaders in the community who recommended I speak to individuals and organizations, and we are very open to that. Actually, would like to do that early days now, so we can make sure that what we put up here continues to give public access and doesn't block anything. So obviously, there's trailheads that are nearby or trailways that are nearby, and we are more than happy to engage in any of those conversations to make sure that we take those into consideration through this initial review of the rezone, and then obviously through the concept plan and eventual platting of this property.
Okay. One more question.
There's another one.
Yeah, I keep getting it from all sides. Because as mentioned by Angela, this property is privately owned. It is not owned by the city, so it will be developed someday. we're just trying to give them input on like what we would like to see in that process.
And I should just say to that question or comment, we've done the calculation that we are under 50% of the overall property that we are developing. And even less than that when we're going to restrict some of these lots because of the geotechnical constraints that will be in place. So as of now, the 144 or 155 acres on the rezone, we are developing less than 50% of that due to the topography, geography, and geology. But we will even be less than that once we implement some of these deed restrictions on the lots, because just the geotechnical geology won't allow us to put homes on these areas. We are trying to make sure we preserve not only the ridge line and everything like that, but also the homes and where they get set back from any slopes.
Okay, one last comment, 30 seconds or less, I hope.
You talked about the lots being an acre and a half. Does that mean the owner can go ahead and sell off a portion of it or build another structure on it for someone else in the family that makes it a bigger?
They would have to come through this whole process over again to get the rezone.
Right. So we're zoning right now. This is the rezone process. This community involvement is describing what we're doing for the rezone process, and then we're working with the city on that rezone process. It's under review. Once we get rezoned, then it'll be zoned for specific lot sizes. So it would have to remain those specific lot sizes. And then further, when we go through and we go through a platting process, everything will be platted. For them to come back and subdivide, we'd have to not only be in a different zone, but also go back and replat.
And it would have to fit within the Critical Hillside process also. Malia has one more comment.
Yes, there's one more comment. I'll try and summarize this again. So there's concern about the high risk of fire for foothill homes, and concern that adding this to a very windy canyon opening isn't going to mitigate that risk. And then additionally, in 2023, in the general plan process, the survey was taken, and the majority of people voted to preserve open space and foothills. So they are concerned that voice is not being heard.
Okay, so it's not even. Is Aaron here still in the room? Hooray, Aaron. So you can answer the question. Is the annexation complete at this moment?
It is.
Okay, so it's brought into the city as OSPR and whatever the other one was. So currently, whoever owns the property has the right to develop within that zone. You should keep in mind, we don't get to say now you can't ever build anything. They have rights within the zone that they currently own. They've just simply come to the city and asked, can we do this? And we want to do it in this way. And this is what we want to do. As mentioned, if they come in with an RA and an OSPR, Aaron, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, is still close to this density. So they aren't asking for a whole lot more denseness. They're just asking for a much specific zone change. So I think it's a better control, but I'm gonna get your opinion. And then if you don't feel like your voice is being heard, you may go to city council or planning commission and speak to them directly, or email them directly, or call any of your city councilors directly. So we're gonna ask, as Malia's last comment mentioned, who would be in favor? I think there's about 50 people. Richard, we need to Robert to keep that in mind. Who would be in favor of maintaining the OSPR zone?
Robert, you want to count that half out?
And so I'll have a.
Tell us what the OSPR zone is.
Oh, okay. I'm going to let Aaron clarify that one because I'm not certain. It means open space and recreation. Open space preservation and recreation, but you can touch it if you want, but I got a cold.
Yeah, she made it right. Open space preservation recreation zone doesn't have the right to build homes on it. So just that correction. But that's what it's meant to be, is to preserve that open space. It's a holding zone when anything's annexed into the city, it's going to that OSPR zone until something like this comes about, and then the council has a decision to make.
They build anything? It's not living space.
Not really.
All right, so all those in favor of keeping this OSPR, keep in mind this is just a poll, we are not taking an official vote. But we will let the city council and planning commission know how you feel.
Raise your hands if.
Raise your hand high if you're in favor of keeping the OSPR zone.
What's the alternative? What's being proposed?
What's being proposed, and we will vote on that next. All those in favor of this project would be my next vote. So all those in favor of keeping the OSPR zone, please raise your hand.
Zoom hand.
Just one or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I must.
Or on this side.
Oh, now I'm to Zoom.
Did you get the ones online, Robert?
That-
Malia's got
There's
three hands up. She's talented that way. Okay? All right, all those in favor of this project as has been proposed, that doesn't mean there won't be some changes, but as has been proposed to you, with about 70 homes plus the R120. Go ahead and raise your hand.
Only people that live in the area.
Yes, it should only be people that live in the area, residents
Right,
can't
please.
vote. Which means more. No, anybody that lives in District 1, I believe, yes, Rachel? That's District North, you're right, they've changed it.
Six on my app. 7. 7, Robert.
Okay? Does anybody else want to propose one more question? We are way over our time, so I'd like one more.
High density.
Sorry.
It's like the OSP zone. Who wants
Okay.
to high?
All right, so moving along, Aaron is going to present our next zone change proposal for right next door to this. And he was given 5 whole minutes. Go, Aaron.
I'll try to go under. So before I start, just know that I'm city planner for Provo. I'm not up here advocating for this project one way or the other. I'm just providing the information for what's been proposed. So this application is in the department review period. They've had one review come back to them, and we're waiting for revisions from that review. So it's the 5568 North Canyon rezone. A lot of you that have been around may remember this. The David Bergonje and the Cirque condos. So last year he proposed the medium density residential zone and got that approved by the city council with 16 townhome units. That was a decision that was made heavily on the sewer infrastructure that was limiting that. So I understand now that Public Works has worked hard with their consultants and property owners to find solutions for those gaps in the sewer infrastructure. So he's come back with a rezone that has this concept plan that you may be familiar with. It's very much similar to what was proposed before the MDR. The medium density residential zone was approved. So the zone he's asking for now is the Arborston Avenue Pro zone. He's reusing that Pro zone that's further down on the University, the Arborston condos and apartment site. So the densities there up on the screen, it's still matching the medium density residential density calculation that was important for staff. That's the discussion we had with him because that was what was proposed in the Northeast Neighborhood Plan. And here are some conceptual elevation renderings of what the building would look like and how it would sit on the site. I think that's all I have.
Gravel pit is.
That's where the gravel pit is, exactly.
Seal it
If
out.
you have questions, I'd like to line up over here. Let's be consistent.
So this is for condos?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it'd be for
Whereas it was like not rent, it's like living.
Yeah, for sale condo units, so stacked units that are for sale individually.
She asked if it was owner occupied and the answer was yes. I was wondering with this project and the previous, how the schools have been included in like increasing numbers and families, all of that. Is that even a consideration?
Not in my role or the city's role, but the school district doesn't want us.
What is the parking per unit?
So it'd be 2.25 stalls required per unit per vehicle parking, and then there's additional.
How many bedrooms per unit?
There are, I believe, 2 and 3 bedroom units in this.
So whether it's 2 or 3 bedroom, the overall parking restriction would be 2.25
per, yeah.
Do you feel like that's adequate?
I do, that's what the code would require.
Lining up. So Aaron, my question would be, because in the avenue on the arbors doesn't require a garage, when something normally requires 2 parking spaces, does that require 2 outdoor parking spaces plus garage, or will it not matter?
So it's just a number count on this one. They are providing underground parking for this, and then some surface as well.
Okay, we have one more question over here.
So what's gonna keep that from just collapsing with big storms and everything above it? It looks precarious.
Rest assured, there's enough regulations and codes from the different levels of government that will protect that.
It'll be safe.
It will be safe.
Okay. So,
If approved.
Rachel has a comment online.
It said that he was also amending the development agreement.
Thank you for reminding me. Yes. So the medium density residential zone was approved with a development agreement. That development agreement commits the city to do certain things, but it commits the developer to do certain things. The things that need to be amended in the current development agreement are the site plan that regulates to only 16 units, and the site plan itself, which is an exhibit of the development agreement. So those things have to be amended by the city council if this was to move forward.
Okay, so with that in mind, I'm gonna tell you a couple of facts. Right now, it is currently zoned MDR, but it does have a development agreement limiting his 16 units.
It does.
Okay. Keeping in mind that currently MDR would allow 30 units per acre at a height of 45 feet. And the avenue on the arbors, which you may or may not be familiar with, is just south of that on University Avenue. It's the development closest to the Canyon Road junction. They're limited to 24 units per acre, so he's actually coming down in what he's allowed to do technically without the development agreement. But he would be allowed to go 4 stories and 60 feet, which was one of his concerns. Squishing it into a small, he has 7 acres, but he does not have 7 acres of buildable land because of the slope. So keep those things in mind. One of my questions would be, are you in favor of maintaining the MDR zone with the development agreement, I guess, and the 16 units as currently approved? And then I guess my next question would be, are you in favor of the project as it's been presented here? So the first question, are you in favor of the current, which you have permission to do, that will not change if the city council votes no. So I guess the question more is, are you more in favor of the current?
Yeah, use the positive.
Good. Are you more in favor of the current? The other one, you want to go the other way? Are you in favor of this project as proposed, presented to you? So the avenue on the arbors zone. Everybody in favor, raise your hand.
What we're looking at.
What he's explained to you.
The 46 units, that's what you're saying, right?
Yes. Is that right, Aaron? 46 is what he's asking for? Yes.
2, 3, 4. Like the doing.
And Aaron, is he asking to put a 46 unit in the development agreement also? Sorry, I should have thought of that sooner.
We haven't talked about a new development agreement with this one. That's unsure if he's gonna amend it or ask to amend it or ask to just remove it and go with the development plan as is. So that's yet to be determined.
All right, so that just became 2 questions. So if you're in favor of this as it stands, period, with what he might be allowed to do, that'll be question 1. If you're in favor of it only if he provides development agreement with limiting himself to 46 units, so there's a second question. So if you're in favor of it as it stands, presented to you now, raise your hand.
So we're maybe just voting on whether we approve 16 units.
No, you would right now be voting on whether you're in favor of changing it to the avenues on the arbors, which would allow him technically in code 24 units per acre. He has 7. I don't know how many acres are buildable. And 60 feet 4 stories high. That's my question. Are you okay with that? Yes, Rob.
Sorry, so I'm a little confused.
Yeah.
I think there's 3 questions.
Yes, at this point, there's 3 questions.
There's the project as here with a development agreement added to it, or as it is now without any changes.
Right.
Now would be 38 units.
So right now he has development agreement, 16 units and 16 density.
So we just have 46 written here, that's why I'm confusing.
16 in a development agreement, which can be changed. Because medium density lets you do 30 units per acre, which is actually more.
And if I'm right, I think the city can't require a development agreement.
That's correct.
They can offer it.
They can't even technically ask for it.
But if you
But
say we'd like a development agreement, it sways the developer hopefully to work with the city to do one.
Right.
That makes sense.
Okay, so is one of the choices to be able to do the 16 unit with a development agreement to limit
That's what we currently have now.
Yeah, that has a
with a development agreement,
Yes.
or just the 16?
Right.
He just wants to make it bigger.
Yeah.
Right, but
Development agreement.
if it changes, there's not a development agreement. So the first 2 questions are as they proposed it or as they proposed it with a development agreement.
Okay, hopefully clear that up. If you're in favor of the current request for zone change to the avenue on the arbors, 24 units per acre, but he's only asking for 46 units currently, please raise your hand. Okay, I'm gonna go with 0 on that one. If you're in favor of the zone change to the pro avenues on the arbors with and suggesting if he would propose a development agreement to limit himself to 46 units. All in favor there, raise your hand.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on our side. 5, Robert.
And all in favor of maintaining what he currently has approval, permission to do with the city of NVR with this development agreement for only 16 units, please raise your hand.
3, 4, 5. 5.
Richard's behind you.
5.
All right. Moving on to our next one. Thank you so much, Aaron. Mr. Reynolds, yes, is here with a presentation on proposed zone change from R1 6 to LDR low density residential to create 38 unit townhomes at 22,000 north. Come on up, Rob. Yeah, we've got 20 minutes scheduled, but
Steve.
No, this project hasn't changed much. Sorry, you don't have a mic.
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me? Not yet. How about now?
There you go.
I was talking, well, now I sound like I'm in a fishbowl. If we can go to the next slide, please.
Worth a shot.
If you're not already familiar with the property outlined in red is the property we're referring to. Obviously this side is, I should have a corner student housing. The other side has just been that approved, medium density residential.
Yes.
Condos are to the rear. The project, was previously before you originally with a student housing and multifamily scenario, of which the neighborhood was strongly against. I since came in with a single family scenario, and there's been certain challenges with single family. One of them is price point and marketability and floor plan. Most of the, being as the ground is elevated going up, the floor plans became challenging for masters of MA and so on and so forth. The most low density look is, if you go to the next slide, please, is to, whoops, oh, that's just showing the zoning. Is using pretty well identically the same footprint or floor, not floor plan, but roads, infrastructure. Another thing coming into there is what's currently approved, if you will. All they've done is proposing to do these in twin homes to enhance, one, affordability, and number two is it alleviates the large necessity for people who can afford the previous home for masters and other bedrooms to be on upper levels, if you will. There's twice upper levels. They're still being built in the hillside, the basement on some of those would be your garages. The master and other things, the kitchen would be on the floor, and the additional bedroom would be on the normal second floor, if you will. Parking, obviously, every
The mic closer to your mouth.
okay, I thought I was noisy enough that everybody could hear me, but I will do better. Thank you. Parking, every unit will have a 2-car garage as well, so it would have 2 cars that could park on the driveway, as far as that way goes offside. The reason you see different colors is we have a few different plans. Some fit on, several of them fit on some lots and others fit on other lots, and so different floor plans with depths and so on and so forth, size of floor plans are adjusted there. The other thing to separate with this, on the far north, the upper end, you see a 20-foot fire road, which gives further separation from both the medium density as you approach North Canyon, as well as the condos would be to the rear, even though we probably have still less density than what they have as far as that way goes. This project, I think, makes a lot of sense. It also enhances people's ability to be able to afford homes as far as those. These would be for sale, they're not to plan on being retained or the like. And I don't know, I guess we can show a couple of the slides, some of the proposed. That's one of the building looks as far as that way goes. I think we can show the next one. We could just say it's got 2 or 3 or 4 of them here. There's one, there's 2 there's locations along the one side. Whoops, what the hell? Boy, no, those would come back again. Okay, if you go back to, if you will, I made one more again. These are the majority of there's 3 of these that, due to the fire load down the north side, we condense the units into normal traditional townhouses rather than twin homes to allow that separation, and also for fire ingress egress, or enhanced fire ingress egress. How many minutes have I taken?
You've done well.
Hey, so
Okay.
I guess with that, because like I say, the plan there, other than a single family to low density for twin homes or is really the only difference from what was previously approved.
Okay, so it sounds like he's ready for questions. While you're lining up, I'm gonna ask a couple. How many acres is the current property?
It's just over 4. the road.
So keeping in mind, LDR currently limits it to 12 units per acre, so it can get much bigger than what he's asking for. But currently you're zoned for R16, which was.
I think you go R16, it allows you 24. I only have 19 actually. That's the same design of the twin homes. That's almost 19.
Okay.
The zoning would allow you currently.
Okay, he already knows about the moving the pipe thing, so we don't need to bring that up. What else from our previous meetings? The pipe, the water irrigation thing.
That's frankly already been.
Right, so that's taken care of. Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, I haven't been able to get a good idea of the floor plans that you're suggesting.
I'll be glad to share those with you. I was only allowed 4 slides.
Okay, so there is a master bedroom with an ensuite bathroom in each unit.
That is the plan, yes.
So each unit then will have 2 bathrooms.
Well, no, it depends on. I have to show the individual floor plans. The reason you see different colors is because like this lot up here can handle like 3 different floor plans because of depth. Some of them that are shorter can handle 1 floor plan, which deviates the amount sit on where there's the main floor.
By your mouth, please.
I'm trying to explain. So I'll be glad to share those with you. They're concept plans. But the way we've been planning those is different lots depending on depth would allow us, whether it's a bigger floor plate or standard floor plate.
But right now there are 2 to 3 bedroom units.
Bathrooms, you didn't answer.
It'd be traditionally 2.5 bath. 1 with the master, 1 that would share between the other 2 bedrooms, and a half bath that would service the dog kitchen.
How will owner occupancy be assured?
I guess the same way houses and everything else are, we would sell them, and as far as I'm not following you, I guess.
Well, in our previous discussions, there's been requirements that these remain owner occupied. And in previous discussions, you said that there'd be ways of ensuring that occurs. So I'm just with going from a single family house to a more dense, how will each of the units be assured to be owner occupied?
That's a good question. As far as that goes, there is no restrictions on the current plan for owner occupancy. And these are single family designed, if you will, each of these twin homes. And I think they largely be out of the budget, even now, even though they're doubled. But the budget beforehand, that's part of the thing that is thrown this not only floor plans, but cost. But I think traditionally even cost would exclude such.
I've got one more question then. Okay, so we've gone from 100+ units on this site to 8 or 9 units, because there was a time when you proposed a subdivision with 8 or 9 homes on it.
I didn't ever do that one, but just so you know, but nevertheless,
Your plans. No, it was. So, and then we went back to 100 units again, and then we went to 19 units on here, and now we're up to 38 again. So, how does the number of vehicles in this area differ compared to the 19 single family homes?
As far as traffic, the 100+ units met the traffic requirements. So obviously less than probably a third of what the original was.
Not traffic. How many vehicles do you expect being housed at this location?
If you have every family has, let's say, 2 vehicles, they both be in the garage. And so if you have 38 total units, you double that total unit. So 38, that's 76 would be a shot from the how many vehicles.
Right. So compared to the 19 single family homes that is currently approved and was just waiting for you to submit a subdivision plan, then we were talking about doubling the vehicles and the numbers of people there.
Yeah.
Could be, unless the bigger homes would have more kids and more family than they would have. Vehicles. So, it just depends on how you look at it.
Yeah. I can live with the twin homes. What I can't live with is all those condos. Because my experience is people buy, aren't those condos back there?
No, they're townhouses.
Picture of 4.
They're townhouses.
Townhouse, excuse me.
One word. So I have a clicker.
There you go.
There you go.
My experience is people buy those and then they stock them with students. And it is, they don't provide adequate parking. The students have no clue how to water their lawns, and so they're watering all the time, all day long, all night long. I don't appreciate that kind of thing again in our neighborhoods.
Let me address that. First of all, the landscaping on this will be done by an HOA. So the fronts and sides of all these will be maintained by the HOA. The only private yard they may have would be a section to the rear. As far as that goes, so as far as the landscaping, and maybe going to take care of the backyards, landscaping, look, the water, everything else will be maintained by an HOA. So I love to
control how many people, if I decide to buy one of the townhouses and put my kid in it, plus 4 students or more,
So-
you can't control that. It just turns out to be a nightmare for the rest of us.
Mr. Reynolds isn't responsible for the city enforcing on the.
That's
three.
why I
So
said
we're
I'm
gonna-
in favor of the condos.
Okay.
If you're voting on this, take out the condos and I'll vote for you. Or take out the townhouses and I'll vote for you. If not, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that.
Okay.
So when you were describing the floor plans, it was really hard to hear, the mic wasn't by you. The difference of why a single family, so it seemed like you were giving me 2 reasons of why we switched from 19 to 38. Number 1, floor plans, number 2, affordability, and I could not figure out what you were saying, why a floor plan of a single family house would not work.
traditionally, people that are paying $1.5 million plus for a home are at an age where they're usually downsizing and would want the masters on the main. With the topography that's around, most of the masters cannot be on the base level because of the increasing hillside that goes up. So therefore, a lot of the garages are going to be underneath. You'll have their doors going up to we call the main floor, which is a flight or flight and a half of stairs, if you will.
So in the townhomes, the masters are still on the second floor. It's just you think that people would be more, the people who are buying them are going to be more okay with that.
I'm seeing that the demographic of this be younger families, if you will, or that type that would be could afford these, if you will. I mean, they're still not cheap. There's nothing cheap, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, that would kind of be my thought is that this area is very, my family just moved here and, to find housing is very difficult. And so it seems unlikely to me that somebody's not going to buy a home because of where the master bedroom is, based on how popular the area is. And then my other concern is just that, kind of, I guess, what's been addressed is, well, you say they're single family homes, they're gonna be cheaper, but it seems to me very likely that investors will buy these places and rent them. I mean, to students, that's because even investors are going to be in much better position to buy these houses than young families. And then they'll rent them to students because that's a great market. So I don't know. I mean, I see that those are your 2 points, but I guess they don't seem permanent. I guess
The city likewise have requirements for families. So what you're saying there, I can't control people, but it's not legal for a homeowner to have several different families.
I just mean an investor could buy 6 of them and then rent them all to a family, just one family.
Well, I mean, obviously,
To rent them to two students.
same is true with any residential home, they can buy it.
Yes, but it's much less likely for somebody to rent us a big single family home than us.
I think you can go back here and see that they are doing that.
All right.
Speaking as one of the people in the HOA of the condos that you referred to that might be more dense,
Yes.
we have CCNRs that we adhere to that keep our condos one family plus one extra person, less than Provo City. And so we will not be more dense, first of all. Second of all, the new development that is immediately to the north of us and you, they had in place an agreement with Provo City that they have to be owner occupied, no rentals. You were referring to an HOA for taking care of lawns and so forth. So why can there not be CCNRs put into place that will limit rentals?
There will definitely be CCNRs in place. I mean, that'll be required because that's the unit.
What they want are deed restrictions. So you only sell it to someone that says, I promise I'll live there. That's what the neighbors want.
Okay, Malia's had her forearm up for a few minutes. Let's let her give the online comment.
Okay, I'm just gonna summarize all the Zoom comments. There is a couple. The first one is just like adding on to what's been said, what keeps these units from being rental units. Pleasant View Neighborhood already has a lot of investors buying and renting homes. Okay, the parking infrastructure is very poor in this area. How about some visitor parking included, and is there any green space in the development? This way, there's no way the neighborhood can support the parking for this project and the just approved salmon project directly to the north. Again, on the green space, single homes are better because we want to encourage families and long-term stability. These townhomes are too small for families. They're more likely to turn into Airbnb and student rentals. I'd like to see fewer number and larger homes and perhaps a central park or green space / playground instead of just packing in as many units as possible.
Malia? Okay, I'm gonna end comments with this gentleman because we're running out of time.
Respond to what was just said?
Yes, and then we will take
About the parking.
Did not
Yeah.
respond to her.
Yes, I got it.
Did not respond to her.
Keep your talent and do it all at once. Okay. Go ahead.
Question two. So I can't remember how many times you've come here and kept changing the process. And I know you're needing to make a lot of money because we're just poor little Provo here. Would you live in a place like these? Do you live in a condo or a townhouse?
I grew up in a condo, Fred.
No, I mean now,
And
with your millions, how many of these kind of homes have you lived in with a crowd around you and lots of traffic? I'm just wondering. Or do you have your own estate somewhere?
Okay. Pertinent to this project. I'm
asking, isn't he the person wanting to do this?
He is, but it's not really pertinent to this project.
It's not pertinent, okay. Another probably impertinent question is, when you ask for the votes, every time in the past, I think it's 3 or 4 visits, there have been strangers in here. I assume they're his children or his employees or his attorneys, because you've never asked how many are local residents gonna vote. Is there a way to get the city council or the city planning commission or somebody who like custodial service out here for the city to start regulating whose vote counts and why? Is that a possibility in Provo now or not?
I'm gonna throw it to Rachel, let her follow up on that, but I am gonna.
Who's Rachel?
I'm right here. First of all, I don't know if you were here at the beginning. The votes in here are just an opinion poll. They.
Also, they don't count.
It's just to give an opinion to the planning commission and the city council. These presentations are so you can get the information you need to then go to planning commission and city council, because they're the ones who make the decisions. This is supposed to be informative not any type of legislative process.
Lynn, did you have one very brief, you got 30 seconds, hon.
In the most recent presentation before this one, you had 3 levels. And now we see that piece of property is 1 level. What is the plan for levels?
The plan has not changed. The topography and the road coming in and everything else is the same elevation. There's nothing changed other than.
So the elevation is the same as what in the previous.
Well, yeah, it's the same as the previous, complete. All this is butting up. The only difference, which was needed before, is this right here is a retaining wall to preserve the hill.
Which is on its way right now.
And it was her question that because you went on to the other question.
I was gonna kind of do that with
answering, because CC&Rs can require owner occupied, and you were saying, oh, I can't do anything. The CC&Rs can require that, it's required in that, and also where I live.
So, and there's gonna be, I'm sorry,
No, go ahead.
there's gonna be CC&Rs in place. I guess the question is, what?
I've got owner occupied.
Well, I guess when you say owner occupied, it determines how long is it owner occupied. So how long is it say? Well.
And I don't know the legal ramifications of that. All I know is what I watched at city council recently. There is something that the city council has been trying to use where when Lynn sells her condo, that person that buys the condo will have to be the owner that lives in it for a year.
Numerous developments that the city council has approved recently.
So after the year though, I don't know that the city can then continue to enforce that.
But the CC&Rs can.
And so that will be one of my questions. So I'm gonna move this, we're past the 20 minutes. So I want to clarify, these are townhomes and the colors, and those are condos.
They're still townhouses, but they're not Win homes, they're 4 townhouses.
Okay, all right.
And there is another plan that.
So if I was hearing correctly, some of you don't like the density of the 4 attached homes, so possibly you're asking for less density. Again, if you want to be specific in your comment, I can't get it here, but you can email the city council and the planning commission and let them know specifically what you intended that I was trying to convey. So I'm going to do a couple questions here. If you're in favor of the project as presented to you, that's one question, just kind of keep it in mind. If you're in favor of the project, so that would be a zone change to LDR, which would allow him up to 12 units per acre, which he's not asking for quite that many. And I'm hoping Robert's kind of writing down these questions so as we come to them. I don't even know. I'm making it up as I go, Robert, here we go. Because next thing I heard was less density. So it would be a zone change to LDR, but with a development agreement of less than 38 units. I'm going to put it that way because I don't want to call it condos or townhomes or whatever, because definitions vary so much. So with fewer units than 38. And then if you're in favor of the project, we're going to pop back to as it stands, but with owner occupancy, deed restrictions, or some kind of CC&R that he will work out with the city, and then we'll present it to the planning commission and city council.
You say as he presented tonight?
Correct, this number of units.
As it's currently.
Are
we not voting on that?
I will do the very last question as it's currently, to remain as currently, which is 19.
The third one is what he's proposed with the CCN.
With some CC&R for owner occupancy.
Sorry to interfere, but there were 2 questions raised by the online person. One
was about parking.
One was visitor parking and one was green space. And you're skipping that still. Getting, well, it looked like we were ready to do our.
So questions 4 and 5 would be, I know. Okay, well, let's
It's too complicated.
Okay.
Like it, do you not like it?
Got it.
Can,
All right.
can Mr. Reynolds respond to us about.
Mr. Reynolds, would you be willing
Visitor
to
and
pull out a
green
couple of
space.
units and add some green space for more visitor parking?
There is another plan that was drafted that instead of being 4 contiguous units, there was a twin and a single, which likewise gives another X amount of square footage that we could replicate additional parking. This will be. I'm not seeing parking to be an issue, but it's.
Is there visitor parking? Is there visitor parking in the
Well,
plan?
in everybody's home, obviously, have 2 main doors, there's 2 sides. So what is visitor parking if they can't park in your driveway or in front of the house? Well, like, if you live in a house, where else do you park? Either park in the driveway.
Streets wide enough to have parking on them?
Yeah, streets, it's a PUD, so.
All right,
So those 3 locations, garage, driveway.
so like it the way it's presented or not? And, would you like to see some seating in our, which is our second question, and do you like it the way he currently has permission to do it, only 19 minutes? Okay. Do you like the way he has presented it to you tonight? 38 minutes, LDR zone. No, CCNRs. Okay.
Deed restrictions in his proposal.
All right, no deed restrictions, raise your hand. Okay, 0. As presented with CCNRs for deed restriction for owner occupancy, raise your hand.
We have 5.
Any online, Malia?
No.
Okay,
1.
a 1. Add 1, Robert. Okay.
Sure what that was, that vote is for.
As presented with CCNRs for owner occupancy. Deed restriction. Okay. And then if you'd like to see the project stay the way it currently is with 19 units, it's not what's being proposed, so that's what he has permission for now. Raise your hand.
Yeah.
Hey. How many?
8 on my side.
He's just counting his side. Don't panic.
We're assuming all the people who voted live in the area, right?
Yes, I am kind of watching her and I have an idea of who's here with Mr. Reynolds and who's not, and who's here with Reza and who's not.
I did wanted to say one thing.
Yes.
We are voting and it's not, it doesn't change anything. But the votes do go to the planning commission and the city council, letting them know how the neighborhood feels. So it does carry, it's worth being here, it's worth voting. So thank you.
Right, because I have heard them mention them in those meetings. But again, if you want your voice heard, thank you, Rob, for coming. You have a vibe of what the neighborhood wants. Okay, we're so way over time. Rachel, did you want to give your presentation really quick?
Say, take a photo of this so you can get the planning commission and city council emails. So planning commission, DS public hearings at provo.gov, city council at council@provo.gov. Attend the public hearings, email them, give you a second, to take a photo. And then just, did you need that back? Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead and take a photo on that. It's important to go to the hearings. A lot of times people go to the neighborhood meeting and they don't go to the hearings. The hearings is where it counts. And then the other things are just check the table outside for emergency information, and there's flyers outside, so don't worry about these.
Okay, so as Robert just pointed out to me, sorry, the school board's here, but we just back to
go back.
So if you have any concerns about any of the projects, just for planning commission is the better place to go and make a comment so that they can update whatever project they want before it gets to city council for the vote. Just so you know, if you're interested enough to make those comments. We're gonna turn it over to the school board for 4 minutes. I will try to get in.
Okay, we're gonna try to do this even quicker. Some of you may have heard, we are in a declining enrollment right now. So over the next few years, we expect to go down by 500 more students. Anyway, because of that, we are having discussions of boundary studies and school closures. Nothing has been voted on, just so you're aware, but we're having the discussion. We're open to any suggestions. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that in this frame. So we started in January, sending out information to the community with really a lot of specifics. Hopefully you all thought and not email and ask around the costs of basically everything that we're trying to provide in terms of educational opportunities for our students. Because we want people to engage in this thoughtfully with us and look at what are the ways that we can show that we are willing to get the best education without continually having to go back to taxpayers and raise property taxes. Part of that conversation included the fact that our enrollment this fall declined by 300 students. We have just over 13,000 in the district. This is statewide. This isn't just Provo, and our neighboring districts have already been having these conversations. Right now, even though in our meeting Friday, Canyon Crest, which is in this neighborhood that we've been talking a lot about tonight, was one of the schools repeatedly named. That personally, I think that was sort of putting the cart before the horse, because we haven't even decided if we think the right thing to do is to look at consolidating our schools. There could be ways we can look at the programs we're running and the inefficiencies created by those programs and the way they're set up. But we need to, as a board, first decide like what approach we want to take, if it includes looking at something like this in the future, if our enrollment continues to decline, so that we can still it's not just about money, it's can we provide the educational experiences that our students need? Can we have teacher collaboration? Do we have, if we get down to one class per grade in a DLI or language immersion school, you know, what happens when that class size drops below 10 students and we're still paying a full-time educator? And on the other hand, we know there are advantages to our small class sizes, and personally, I love my neighborhood school with my whole heart. So we just have to have these hard conversations. We have to look at what the data says. There is no even though it said the word proposal Friday, there is no actual proposal of schools to close yet. We have to zoom back out and start this conversation kind of over. There will be neighborhood school meetings. The first one will probably be at Canyon Crest, and that information will be going out this week to people.
And just so you're aware, this is not for this coming school year. This would be for the 27-28 school year at the very earliest. But we have to start having these conversations. So
yeah, that's information.
And we can send information to the city. You can also email Board of Education at provo.edu. All of this information is going to have its own place on our website, so that people can start looking at the data that we're looking at. They can access what we have heard from hundreds of you since January about specific programs and specific supports and ways to reduce expenses. We've made some unpopular decisions, including closing Camp Big Springs. We've completely eliminated, we revised our e-school, which saved $500,000 ongoing every year. We're trying to kind of do those things. If the decision does get made to consolidate schools, then what I think the board needs to do is be really clear and agree on how those decisions get made and how we figure that out.
Hello. So I have a question. When you guys decide on the vote, is this something that the whole school board is voting on, or is it just the superintendent? And this would be a full board vote. All of you on the school board are getting up with these solutions. Yes. Okay. So I just have one comment. I work at Canyon Crest, and I feel like Canyon Crest is robust. We have over 500 students. We have an amazing dual language program. And I feel like I'm that capable teenager who's doing her job, and my parents have gone off the end financially, and I'm the one that's getting, you know, I'm the one who's losing my room because we're having to downsize. And so I feel like I wouldn't mind doing that if I knew that that my parents were going to be financially responsible for what's coming next. And I do not have that guarantee. I do not feel it. And so I know this is hard. I know you guys are in a tough situation, but I just think that some of us who have tried so hard to be self-reliant and responsible should have the right to retain our school.
Thank you.
And as a person who owns a home in that area and our property taxes keep going up, and it's the school district that determines our property taxes, if you're diminishing enrollment, why do our taxes keep going up?
Well, we don't set an evaluation, we set a rate. And so we set an amount of money that we want every year. And that's what we're trying to do, is we want to be mindful of that. We don't want to keep going out to just keep status quo. Because that's what we'll have to do, is keep raising rates, to just keep going, because we're not having the same amount of students coming in as we used to. And then lots of 300 students is one
that is determining our property taxes.
The county assessor does that, and that's coming up for vote this year, the new county assessor.
And to that, here's an interesting thing. Last year we had a truth in taxation process to raise the rate. However, the state wouldn't certify it. So we didn't get that increase this past year, and we used $4 million that created for us in a shortfall from the budget we had passed from our rainy day fund. We will, and my taxes went up over $400. And I was like, wait a minute, if I didn't raise the rate, why did my taxes go up? And I had been challenged in a neighborhood city meeting that they didn't believe the narrative that I had shared, which was we collect the exact same revenue year over year from the city of Provo, unless we do a truth in taxation process or the city does. And so I went and I found that in fact, when my property taxes go up in a year, if there hasn't been a rate increase because of assessment, somewhere else in Provo, those valuations went down to offset it so that the collected amount stayed the same. And I didn't believe that, but I checked into it, and it is true. You can walk into the assessor's office. You can also walk into our business administrator's office to see it. So that's the thing. But there, you are right, and we need to be able to tell the story of here are the things we're doing to reduce our spending. Here are the things we are looking at for sources of revenue beyond property taxes in the state spending, which is so low right now. You know, we just this week we got a $400,000 grant as a district for our current technical education. We need to look at the value of the properties we own, what our assets are. Like, it has to be a whole picture consideration, but it cannot be that in order to pay our teachers enough to keep our talented teachers here, in order to keep up with last year, a 34% increase in the cost of our health insurance for employees, which took almost our entire state revenue coming in, that the answer is just, well, raise your taxes because we want these neighborhood schools, we want special programs, we want dual language immersion, we want a music teacher in every school. We want those things, but to do them, we have to look at the efficiency of how we manage all of our assets, which will include looking at
us who live in these neighborhoods. You know, we have our homes paid for, we're retired, we're on fixed incomes, but then what we can't control are these out of control taxes that move people out.
That's why
and then who's left to buy our large homes.
That's why we're starting this conversation here, because we want to be mindful of your taxes.
It's such a horrible conversation.
Yeah, thank you so much for the report. You heard it implied in the comment that I made before, just because the development projects that we were looking at are highly related to Canyon Crest in that area of the city, and just wondered how you go about even trying to project students coming in. The reason, and this is my comment, and then this is my comment coming from a place where I grew up. I was at like the dip where the population was going down. So a lot of schools were closed, but then it went back up. And so there's, again, in a place like this where it's expensive and properties are hard to come by, if you consolidate, you can't, it's really hard to get that back, right? So I'm hoping there's a sense of being creative in terms of like, one of the high schools, when they closed it, that became more like a public center generating funds, but the site was still owned by the city. Anyway,
And nothing has been voted on yet. Just
Nor will it be anytime soon.
Anytime soon. If there would be a vote, it won't be until December.
The
The soonest.
And between now and then, there will be neighborhood meetings advertised at schools and within neighborhoods. This isn't just our district that's impacted, it's actually the whole city of Provo. And lots of different parts of the community will be impacted by however we approach this in terms of new development. In the past, we have even built schools thinking certain developments would yield enrollment, and when they didn't, then we had a school there. So right now, historical data shows no more than 0.7 students per household. Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Feel free to email us your questions.
Yeah, we need to wrap up. We're way over time. If you want to do, so you'll see two other items on the agenda for 2200 and 2320 North. They have very graciously said that they will present at a future time. I do want to put a plug in for, in case you were unaware, it's America's 250th birthday, and Utah wants all America to have a potluck on July 5th. So start organizing and do something in your area.
Festival wants you to go to Stadium of Fire on the 4th.
Okay, there you go. Youth council.
Free ticket.
Youth council applications are being accepted by Provo City. North District Board member applications are open. You may apply if you want to be more directly involved in this fund. Citywide emergency exercise will be April 16th. I know Rachel had a slide up there for a minute.
Flyers on the table.
Okay. And the Riverbottoms representative seat is open. Cheyenne Shin and Emily Taylor have both applied. If you'd like to go online to say great things about which of those people you'd like to see in this position to represent you in the Riverbottoms, do so, please. Thank you for coming. We will
Back to the potluck. I want to take a
see
picture.
you later.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well,